Shabbat Shalom. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you all. Depending on where you are on the planet, it's 11:32 a.m. where I am here in the Washington, D.C. area. It's 11:32 p.m. in Malaysia where my friends are, and in the Philippines. It's in between everywhere else. Wherever you are, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Greetings to the 144,000 who are now scattered throughout the earth and being prepared to bring a final message of warning to the planet and to call Yah's people out of Babylon. Greetings. Greetings to the 12 tribes scattered into the four corners of the earth who are going to be hearing and are starting to hear that call to come out of Babylon, out of the religious systems of this earth. Greetings. Greetings to those of the Gentiles who desire to worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for he seeketh such to worship him. Greetings. Greetings also to those that are here for whatever reason you're here, to hear the truth. Greetings. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field who are seeking with all their heart to save lives, taking care of people that cannot take care of themselves, strangers that they don't even know, oftentimes risking their own life to do so. Greetings and blessings on them. Blessings on those that pick up garbage, a thankless job that without which all of us would be living in squalor, rats and roaches, but these people pick up garbage for us and keep our places clean for not enough pay. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries, unsung heroes that drive cars and ride bikes and motorcycles and scooters and on foot to make our lives convenient, drive 18-wheel trucks to make our lives convenient for things we take for granted. Blessings on them. Blessings on those that are seeking to deliver boys and girls, men and women and children from the clutches of perverted sex slave operations and human trafficking going on $1 billion level around the planet. Snatching men and women, boys and girls, people being sold into slavery for sex slaves all over the planet Earth, mostly for the wealthy and the perverted that support these industries. Curses upon them and blessings upon those that are seeking to deliver such ones. Finally, blessings on those that are trying to help the homeless. 500,000 men, women, and children, boys and girls, families and veterans sleeping on the streets in the United States of America alone, and millions around the world. And I want to add, if you can hear me, in the Philippines. I am now starting a campaign on Patreon, and I'm going to be putting my Patreon Patreon connection link, whatever, into the description box. Look on Patreon in my Patreon, because what we're doing is we're sending food or rice to the Philippines. I'm working with another brother, and we're sending food to the Philippines. In the Philippines, you can get 50 pounds of rice for something like $25. And that can feed a family or two for a month. They don't have Social Security. They don't have disability in the Philippines. They're not getting unemployment. There are children with babies, young girls sleeping on the streets next to garbage because they can't get something to eat. There are older people starving to death. And so we're putting a campaign together to try to send on a monthly basis some money just to feed a family. I'm trying myself to feed at least 2 or 3 or 4 families every month. And so if you are so led, that's what we're doing now. Just letting you know, it's a Patreon page. It'll say Raw Hebrew Remnant repping Knicks Nation, but that's what the Patreon is for. I'm just telling you. I started it with the Knicks Nation, but I've been convicted to try to do it because you look, when you are giving to poor people, you are also going to be blessed. That's all I'm saying. We're not trying to raise no money for no church, no denomination. This is to directly feed people that are starving to death in the streets of the Philippines, in Manila, and all of the different islands of the Philippines. that people are suffering. So blessings on that too. So we have just and greetings and blessings to everybody in the chat. Greetings and blessings to all of y'all. Now, we just completed our study in the book of Revelation. What a blessing it was. And I asked y'all whether we should go back and do it again. Daniel and Revelation. And my brother Walter, he said, I think maybe you should go ahead and do that. But bless him, when I went and I prayed about it, Most High said, no, it's time for Jeremiah. So here we go. We're going to do Jeremiah. Now, every year, it's not like we're going to forsake Daniel and Revelation. Every single year that we can, we do Daniel and Revelation every year because it's relevant. And this is the point. Brethren, we're at the end of all things right now. And so when I pray to the Most High before we go teaching into this word, not only do I ask him to guide my steps in this word, or as the Bible says itself, order my steps in your word. Let not every iniquity have dominion over me. But as I'm teaching this, it's very important because, brethren, anyone that opens, see, this is the thing. People take this stuff lightly, man. I do not. I understand that in the day of judgment, I'm going to have to answer. And everybody that raises this book up to teach is going to have to answer to Father Yah and Messiah in the judgment seat for what you teach. And your ignorance is not going to help you in that day. Neither is mine. So when I pick up this book to teach, I take it very seriously. Very seriously. But I notice a lot of people they know a couple of verses, they know a couple of things, and they jump out here and start teaching without actually reading the book. And then go read an Apocrypha and Septuagint and never actually have read this book and go try to teach. Look, we have to give an account. Okay? And so when I go to pray before I start to teach, and as y'all know, I don't write no notes down. Somebody asked me for my notes. I don't have no notes. The Most High let me to put it on here so y'all can get it recorded and you can go back and listen to it. I don't never know what's going to come. I just know he sends me to teach it and open my mouth and speak. And so what I'm saying to y'all is I ask him, Father, what you want for your people? You know what he's impressing me? Strengthen my people. Give them the words that will give them power and preparation for what's here and what's to come. So everything we're studying is not about this is not Christianity where you sit down and philosophize about what you think. It's not about that. This is about getting prepared because, brethren, this whole system is about to be destroyed. The whole system, every church, every political system, every business, every corporation, and most people are going to be destroyed. Why? Is it because the Father is mean? No, it's because he's of love. That's why, because it's love. You say, how is that love? Because this world has people in it that rape babies. Because this world has people so desperate, they'll walk into a PCS store, blow the brains out of the clerk just to take our car and sell it. Because this world has now been divided into rich and poor. That's why. Because this world has government people that will put diseases in the air to reduce the population. That's why. Because this world is built on, this whole system is built and founded and run on lies and liars. That's why. And for the last 2,000 years, the Most High has been preparing us for this. He's giving us prophecy in Daniel, in Revelation. And now we're looking at Jeremiah for this purpose, to prepare us in his mercy. He sent Messiah to bring us the ability to receive divinity. That ye might, as the Apostle Kapha said, be partakers of a divine nature and escape the corruption that is in the world through lust. Greed runs this lying society in which we're in. Greed and self-centeredness are the order of the day. Everything is based on that self. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Get me money, get me paid. Make me a star. That's the whole, everything based on that. Marriages can't even stay together because people are so self-centered. They're only in it for what they can get. And everybody's desperate. You got the people at the top that are desperate to get more money than they already got, more power than they already got. You got people in the middle that's losing their grip because they used to being comfortable in the middle and it ain't comfortable no more. And then you got people in the bottom that's struggling, that's desperate, that will roll up on you with a 9 and blow your brains out to steal your car because they got no other way to get it done. This is the world we live in, where people are being raped, little babies 6 months old, a year old, 2 years old. Yes, that's happening. And they're putting it on video for other people to buy it. And people are boldly buying it in the billions of dollars, y'all. This is the world we live in. Yes, it's going to be destroyed, the whole thing. There's no white Jesus, no church is going to save you from it. It's all a lie. And it's going to be destroyed. And he's given us this book. We don't need no other book. We don't need no other church, no other intercessor, no 501c3 corporation. We just need our Father, his Son, and this book. Read it. You heard what the Father said. This is my beloved Son, my only begotten Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear him. The Father had John right. He is the Word made flesh. People get this confused. And you know what? We always go over this. And y'all, some of y'all been in this ministry probably know this, but this is for people that don't know. Let me explain to you. Messiah is not the Father. Messiah is the Father's sent and anointed representative. Did you hear what I said? Testing 1, 2, 3. Make sure y'all get this, right? Because people be talking about, well, some people think Jesus is God Almighty. That's a bunch of garbage. Messiah never claimed to be the Almighty. He's the representation of his Father. And people use Book of Revelation and say, well, he said he's the Alpha and Omega. That's because his Father is. And he represents his Father. He rep his Father. No man has seen Yah at any time. The only begotten Son that's in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. So when he says, I'm Alpha and Omega, he's speaking on behalf of his Father. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. Y'all need to get this right, y'all, because people out here lying continually. Lying continually. Tens of thousands of so-called teachers bringing lies to confuse you. And we're in a serious situation. So now we get ready to study Jeremiah. And why? Because we must be prepared. The word is so deep. The word of Yah is so powerful. Not only does it say about itself that it's like a two-edged sword dividing the joints, it's deeper. It's deep. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Supernatural. Yes, supernatural. Man cannot give you the preparation that Yah will give you through this word. This word does not contradict itself. Anybody that would claim that is a liar and should be accursed. Let me say that again. Somebody come up and try to intimate that the word contradicts itself. They are a liar and they should be accursed. Let me just tell you right now. Let me say it a third time. Anybody that comes and says this word contradicts itself, that the King James is not true, is a liar and they should be accursed. Y'all get that? Y'all feel that? Brethren, the Father gave us this word for this time, for right now. Right now. Okay? He gave it to us for now. And yes, this is people, and let me just break this down for you. People say, well, Europeans wrote it. That is incorrect. Europeans did not write the Bible. Europeans translated it from Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic. That's different from writing it. That's getting the original words and translating it. And when you look in the King James, it will say this, translated, it's what it says here, translated out of the original tongues. That's the first thing it says. It's not telling you it was written. It's translated. And how do we know the translation is sound? Let me just give you some logic on this thing. It was Roman Catholic priests that were used to translate this. So if you're saying, well, that means that it's a Roman Catholic book, right? If that were true, right, then you would expect Roman Catholics to favor their church with the translation. And yet, this translation calls the Roman Catholic Church a whore. Wait, you hear me? So you telling me they're going to call themselves a whore? Wait, then they use this book to beat the slaves over the head and say, see this white Jesus? That's your savior. And when you read this book, you will notice there is no white Jesus. So you think they wrote that to defame themselves? Wait, I heard some Jehovah's Witness bring this foolishness. King James was a homosexual, trying to imply. See, this is the thing. The devil doesn't just come out and say what he believes. He implies stuff and leads you to a train of thought. You see what I'm saying? So they'll come out here. King James is a homosexual. I guess what they're trying to say, because King James is a homosexual, he must have wrote the King James Bible, right? So therefore it favors homosexual. Yet it says in there, man shall not lie with mankind, both shall be put to death. So I guess they were committing suicide then, huh? Y'all got, come on, you know what I'm saying? This is what's out here. This is what's out here. And brethren, they're depending on you not reading it. They're depending on you not reading it. They're depending on you. See, brethren, let me tell y'all something. In this age in which we live, people are used to quick answers. Did you hear what I'm saying? They're used to quick answers. They're used to answers that you can just get it quick and get a quick understanding and move on. You cannot do that with this book. You cannot get one YouTube video and think you know this book. Okay? There's a lot of YouTube videos you can get one of and know a lot of stuff. But this book is not one of them. You're going to need to spend a year just to read it through one time. And you got to spend that time to begin to get an understanding of this book. To begin. And so I'm admonishing everybody, read this book, read it. And then when you finish reading it, read it again. Because this is where we at. The whole earth is built on lies and we're being deceived. The only safety we have is going to our Father ourselves. It's like, you ever been in a situation where you're hearing a lot of rumors about something that you feel important. Maybe it's about you, and you're hearing a lot of rumors, right? You're hearing a lot of rumors and people are telling you different things and you get confused. Finally, what do? The person that's the subject of all of these rumors with you go to that person directly. Say, I've been hearing all this stuff. I need to go to you directly. That's the right thing to do to get the true story and to look in their eye and hear what they say. You hear, right? So there's a lot of garbage, a lot of gossip about this book, a lot of gossip about what it says. You know what I say? Go to the source yourself and find out. Go to your Father and ask him. That's what I say. Quit trying to get stuff from people that's giving you half the story. You understand? Nah. Messiah is divine, y'all. There ain't no prophet like him. Nah. He's of a divine nature. When he talks to us, he's our intercessor. Ain't no other intercessor like him. When he talks to us, he's speaking on behalf of his Father. He is the Son of God, the Son of Yah. When he turns, your people forget this. He has two sides to his ministry. He speaks to us on behalf of the Father, and y'all forget he speaks to the Father on behalf of us. Y'all forget that. And so when he turns around and talks to his Father on my behalf and yours, guess what? He's the Son of Man. There's nobody else that could do that. There's nobody else. that can speak to us on behalf of the Father as the Son of Yah and turn around and represent us in perfect righteousness to the Father as the Son of Man? Nobody. Ain't nobody like that. Moses, Jeremiah, nobody. Don't disrespect the Messiah like that, because Father will come at you. You don't want to do that. Father gonna come at you. Yeah, I'm hyped today, man, because I heard some foolishness the other day. I heard some foolishness, man. Oh, anyway, and I'm very zealous to defend my Father and Messiah. Very zealous to defend this word right here. You can't mess with me with this. I'm very zealous on that. And I'm not going to argue with you. But we studying Jeremiah today. Okay? We studying Jeremiah today. Look here. Let's start in Jeremiah chapter 1 real quick. We're going to do an introduction. First, let me tell you something. Jeremiah was a Levite. Okay? Jeremiah was a Levite. Why is that important? Well, first of all, before we go to Jeremiah, let's look at just a couple other verses real quick, just to background a little bit. Okay? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus chapter 10. This was the admonition that the Father gave Moses to give to Aaron and his sons, whom the Father had ordained to be priests in Israel. This priesthood is the Levitical priesthood, and Messiah is from the tribe of Judah. And we are shown in the book of Hebrews that there was going to be a change in the law, which the Bible talks about with regard to that, because of this man called Melchizedek, or Malach Asadak, which means king of righteousness. But before that, he had ordained, and as you're going to see, he has ordained 144,000 to be that priesthood in the kingdom. But we are shown here what the priests of the Levites are supposed to do. In Leviticus chapter 10, Leviticus chapter 10. This is after Aaron's sons got drunk and went into the sanctuary and did some foolishness in the holy place and were killed. Okay, Leviticus chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 6. I'm going to start at verse 6, and I'm going to read from verse 6 down to verse 11. And Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar his sons, uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest ye die, and lest wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which Yahweh hath kindled. And ye shall not go out from the door of, notice what it says here now. And tell me where, y'all that have been paying attention in Revelation, tell me where you've heard this before. Watch verse 7. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. Wait, y'all in the chat, y'all heard this before in the book of Revelation. Where did you hear this? Let me read it again. Ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon. Where did you hear that? I'm testing y'all that has been studying with me the book of Revelation. Where did you hear this? This is in the book of Revelation. Okay, it's a little different, but these beginning words are the same. Ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Come on now. Where's my people at? Brother Walter thinking about it. Okay. I'm gonna give you a hint. It's between chapters 1 and 3. I'm gonna give you a hint. It's between chapters 1 and 3. It's between chapters 1 and 3. If I give you another hint, I'll be just giving it away. All right, let me show you. Y'all ready? Let me show you real quick. Let me read it one more time. This is Leviticus chapter 10, verse 7. Now we're going to read the rest of what I said, but let's watch this. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. Now watch. The Heavenly Garden is paying attention. Heavenly Garden is learning. Okay. There you go. She got it. Or he got it. That's right. Let's take a look at it. Revelation. And I'm sorry, Heavenly Garden. I don't know if you are he or she. I'm sorry. Please. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, not trying to be funny. Okay. Revelation chapter 3. Church of Philadelphia. Revelation chapter okay, Heavenly God. Revelation chapter 3, Church of Philadelphia. Notice Revelation chapter 3, verse 12. Revelation chapter 3, verse 12. Notice what it says. Comparing to Leviticus chapter 10, verse 7. What does it say? Him that overcometh, and this is in Philadelphia. And we know who comes out of the six? 144,000. Right? Him that overcometh will I make what? A pillar in the temple of my most high, and he shall go no more out. You see that? Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple, and he shall go no more out. The temple is the tabernacle of the congregation. Go back to chapter 10 of Leviticus, verse 7. Notice what it says. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. You see why I say the priests are going to be the 144,000? Y'all see that? All right, let's go back now. That was the quiz. Some of y'all, Heavenly Garden, you got an A on that one. The rest of y'all, I'll give you a B because y'all were trying. So I'll give you a B. I'm an easy grader. I'm not going I'm not going to hurt you too bad. All right, so you'll pass the class anyway. Don't worry. You showing up, you giving your effort, you're going to pass the class. Okay. So Leviticus chapter 10. Let's start again from verse 6 and read down. And Moses said unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar his sons, uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest ye die, lest the wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which Yahweh hath kindled. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. For the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. And Yahweh spake unto Aaron, saying, do not, watch this, do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, between unclean and clean, and that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which Yahweh has spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. So what are you saying? Don't drink no wine when you get ready to minister here. He's not telling them to never drink wine. He's saying when you get ready to come into the tabernacle of the congregation to do the business, don't drink. Because apparently his sons had some wine before they went in there, and they end up doing some foolishness and got themselves killed. You following what I'm saying? Okay. Right? So, but why? Because at the end it says that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which Yahweh has spoken unto them by the hand of Moses. So now the Levites are ordained to do what? To teach the people. Okay? And in the kingdom, as we know, there's going to be people that have been resurrected from past times that would not have known all the truths that the 144,000 and those with them would have known in these last days. And they're going to be what? Taught over the course of the 1,000 years. They're going to be taught. Okay? That's why you're going to have priests and kings. Priests and kings. Yahweh Shah have made us unto the Father priests and kings. Okay, there you go. That's one. Let's see, there's another one. Deuteronomy chapter 33, the book that says, these be the words. Adabarim, the words. Deuteronomy, Adabarim is the words in Hebrew. Deuteronomy chapter 33, which is called Adabarim. This is where Moses was blessing. He gave the children of Israel a song to sing, right? And in his song, he starts to bless each of the tribes. Watch what he says when he talks about the tribe of Levi or Levi. Let's take a look at this. This is his own tribe. This is Deuteronomy chapter 33, beginning at verse 8. Deuteronomy 33, beginning at verse 8. And unto Lawai he said, let thy Tumim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. You guys, okay, let me say, Tumim and Urim, that means truth and light. Truth and light. The priests were to bring truth and light as they teach the people. Okay, they were ordained from the Father to bring truth and light to teach the people. Let thy Tumim and Urim be with thy Holy One. Okay, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. Verse 10. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee and whole burnt offerings upon thy altar. Bless Yahweh his substance and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him and of them that hate him, that they may not rise again. The teachers are the Levites. See, again, we're going into Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is a Levite. Let's go one more before we go further. Let's go to Malachi. Malachi. I believe. Yes. Malachi. So the Most High, I don't know if Malachi himself was a priest, but he indicates, because he taught, his message is to the priesthood. That's his message. His message is to the priesthood. So he might have been a priest also. And that's where my point here today. The priest among the prophets that have published works of the Bible, we call the King James, there's many of them that are priests. Ezekiel's a priest. Moses a priest. Aaron's a priest. John the Baptist was a priest. All of these of the tribe of Levi were priests. Jeremiah is a priest. Okay, multiple of priests. Because why? Because they teach. And then, of course, you remember in that famous scripture where Israel was being attacked by Edom, Moab, and Ammon, and someone stood up and told Jehoshaphat, the battle is not yours. Remember that? The battle is not yours, but yours. That was a priest that did that, of the tribe of Levi. Okay. And then the sons of Asaph that David ordained to bring songs, they were priests. So oftentimes the priests are the teachers, and they are ordained to be the teachers in Israel. And that's why, as we're going to read again at the end, because Jeremiah is a prophetic book, the 144,000 are going to be in that role as priests, set apart for that purpose. Okay, here we go. The Malachi, I'm going to start at chapter 2, and I'm going to go into chapter 3 of Malachi. I'm going to start at chapter 2 and go into chapter 3. Let's start starting at verse 1. Now, O ye priests, this commandment is for you. If ye will not hear, if ye will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, saith Yahweh of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you and will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feasts, and one take you away with it. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith Yahweh of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave him to him for the fear wherewith he feared me and was afraid before my name. You see how the attitude of the teacher must be? You must have a respect, a reverence for the Father. You must. Otherwise, don't even start, because you'll be like, the two sons, Nadab and Abihu, that's being destroyed. And let me tell you something. The majority of people teaching the Bible today are going to be destroyed because they don't take this very seriously. They want the money. They want control. Okay. They want fame. None of that has nothing to do with the glory of the Father. Let's continue. Verse 6, the law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of Yahweh of hosts. Messenger is the same word as angel, which is why Messiah is called the messenger of the covenant or the angel of the covenant. Angels are not only heavenly beings, but they're also, they're messengers. They're coming with, a message from the Father, as Revelation showed us. The revelation of Jesus Christ, or Messiah Yahushua, which Yah gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it by his angel or messenger unto his servant Yakanan, who bear record. And we talked about that, how when you see angels flying and coming down from heaven in the book of Revelation, it's a message from heaven, from the third heaven, given to a prophet or the people on the planet Earth to bear record of the message. Okay. But ye are departed out of the way. Verse 8. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of the wise, saith Yahweh of hosts. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according as ye have not kept my way, but have been partial in the law. Have we not all one Father? Hath not one Yah created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers? Judah has dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah hath profaned the holiness of Yahweh, which he loved, and hath married the daughter of a strange God. We're going to talk about this in Jeremiah. This is why we went into slavery. This is why we went into slavery. It started with corrupt leaders leading the people away from Yah, away from his glory alone, and to man's glory. That's what the apostle Paul talked about in Acts chapter 21, about people that would rise up from among us that want to pull away disciples after themselves. The true teachers of Yah are always seeking to point people to their Father through their Messiah, who is the intercessor. He is the man that's called the way, the truth, and the life. No man goes unto the Father but by him. So you must approach the Son of Yah so that he can represent you as the Son of Man. Otherwise, you cannot get to the Father. It's an ordained way from the Father. And because the priesthood that was supposed to represent the teachers of the Father's way, of his law, of his statutes, because they failed being greedy, because the tribe of Judah was supposed to be where David's seat is, and they failed being idolatrous, we ended up in slavery and are still being oppressed to this day. Yet the hope of the awakening is here. The hope of the awakening is here. And because of that, we know the end is near. Okay, let's continue. Yahweh will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto Yahweh of hosts. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of Yahweh with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering anymore, nor receiveth it with goodwill at your hand. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because Yahweh has been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. And did not he make one? Yet he had the residue of the Spirit. Wherefore, one, that ye might seek a godly seed. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. So apparently, as part or a sign of the apostasy, men were switching their wives, dumping their wives. And in the Bible, it's not the same as here. It's not just messing around on them like you would think now. Like, he has girlfriends on the side. No, they were whoremongering. Because in the Bible, when you had sex with a woman, that means either she was your wife or your concubine or your whore. The only three things. If she's your wife, you're providing for her. You're providing for her food and raiment. And she's living in your house or a house you bought for her. If she's your concubine, she might be taking care of herself part of the way, but you're also helping her too. And neither of these women are sleeping with any other man. But if she's your whore, you might not be the only dude she's sleeping with. You might not be taking care of her at all. You might pay for sex, but that's it. And so when you have a wife or a concubine, today's vernacular, the concubine is what we would call today girlfriend. That's what we call today. A lot of times when there's boyfriend and girlfriend today, right? These two people expect each other to be what? They be monogamous, right? They expect that man expects, that's my girl, that's my woman. I'm the only one having that. Nobody else is getting it in that. That's mine. That's concubine. Same thing. People look at it negatively, but yet if you look at it in today's vernacular, you say girlfriend, nobody looks at that negative. It's the same thing. But in the Bible times, it is expected that man that's having that concubine is helping to take care of her. She might be taking care of herself. Maybe one of her sons is helping in the Bible. Maybe has sons. Maybe she has sons with you, and their sons are helping. Maybe she's with whatever. But you helping, you providing something. What makes a husband and wife is the husband is doing something to bring something to the table to provide. And if you're a husband of a wife, you're providing for that. Now, today's economy, what they did with this women's lib is they dogged the black man. That was the whole point of the women's lib movement, to destroy us. To get the black woman and the Spanish woman to join with this women's liberation thing so that all the women now want equal pay and equal work. Well, what happened? It wasn't always like that. But what ended up happening with that is that now everything costs more. So you actually need two salaries to make stuff work. You actually need two salaries. Unless you're one of these people that's getting really paid, but you need two salaries to make it work. Okay? And that's what happened. It destroyed the family. Especially the black family. So now brothers were already making 30, 40, 50% of what their Caucasian counterparts make. So, and now the sisters making just what the brother's making. So now both of y'all got to work. So now today the brother's contributing, but he can't support by himself. It's the way things are. It's designed for that. Y'all sisters need to remember that. Okay. Forget all these entertainers and athletes. There are in the United States of America at least 46 million Hebrews. In terms of rich entertainers, there might be 5,000. And that's 5,000 people that can really support a wife and concubines and everything. These are athletes, these are singers, these are actors, and they might not even be that many. But if you take 5,000 out of 46 million, that's not even 1/10 of 1%. That does not represent the masses of what things are really like. Your sisters need to know that. Don't get caught up in this star searching, this reality TV and all of this stuff, thinking that all brothers are supposed to be doing that. Nah, don't work like that. I got 3 degrees. I got technical degree. I got a master's in technical degree. I got a mathematics degree. I got a business finance degree. And my wife still got to work. See that? That's how it is for the real, on the common level, the common people level. So in the Bible, though, when a man in Israel had a wife, he was old enough and he was financially well enough to take care of her. That was the key thing there. It wasn't about I'm in love with you or I'm feeling these feelings with you and I think we should be together. I'm attracted to you. No. She was much younger than him and she was hoping this brother can provide for her. In fact, he was supposed to provide for her. He had to prove to her family he could provide for her. Otherwise, he couldn't have a wife. That's why you see David in the kings with multiple wives, because the women wanted to be provided for. The king was going to be wealthy because he was collecting money from the whole nation. So the king was going to be wealthy. And so because of that, he could provide. Solomon's problem was not that he had 700 wives, although that was crazy. Solomon's problem was that he married strange wives that worshiped other gods. That was the real issue the father had with him. Okay? The father told David, you didn't have to go kill Uriah and take his wife. I would have given you more wives if you wanted to. because David could provide for wives. Well, today we don't do it like that, not in the United States, not in the European country in which we live, but it should be understood that a man is going to have a wife, and the wife's going to understand both of y'all going to have to bring to the table something, because otherwise you can't survive in this situation. This Babylonian system in which we're in, both people got to bring something to the table, because that's how it's built. Okay. And that's why in today's society, very few people can actually afford more than one wife or a wife and concubine. Okay. I mean, really, you can have sex with many women, but you can't afford to really be responsible, because you just have sex with women. That's called whoremongering. You're a whoremonger. That's what you are. And whoremonger is not getting in the kingdom. But if you're providing, that's a different story. Okay. You're paying their rent. You're giving them food. You're doing something to provide. That's what you got to do. Okay, y'all need to understand that. All right, let's continue. Verse 16, Malachi chapter 2. For Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, said that he hated putting away. He hates divorce. He hateth putting away. For one covereth violence with his garment, and saith the Yahweh of hosts, therefore take heed to your spirit that ye deal not treacherously. Ye have wearied Yahweh with your word, yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, every one that doeth evil is good in the sight of Yahweh, and he that delighteth in them. And where is the Most High of judgment? That's where we at today. Good is evil, evil is good. That's what happens when things are backwards, and they are now backwards in a world that's built with a system of lies. Okay, chapter 3, verse 1. I'm gonna go from chapter 3, verse 1 down to verse 12. Behold, I will send my messenger. Who is that? And he shall prepare the way before me. Yahweh, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts, the messenger of the covenant. Remember what the Bible says about Messiah. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause sacrifice and oblation to cease. Okay, that's the messenger of the covenant. That's Messiah. Okay, verse 2. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire and like a fuller's soap. A refiner's fire and a fuller's soap. Purifying and cleansing, right? And he shall sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Lewi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto Yahweh an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto Yahweh, as in the days of old, as in the former years. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers and against the adulterers and against the false swearers and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages and the widow, the fatherless, that turn aside the stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith Yahweh. All of those things we just read, that's what tithes are for. Tithes are not for you to be building churches, building buildings, for some pastor somewhere to get rich and have 5 cars. That's not what tithes for. Tithes are for those that are widows and fatherless and strangers, the poor. And it's in food, not money. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from mine ordinances and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith Yahweh of hosts. But ye say, wherein shall we return? Will a man rob Yah? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, saith Yahweh of hosts, if I will not open unto you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, and there shall not be room enough to receive it. Now notice, in churches, they used to read this in SDA church all the time, talking about money. But as you read earlier, it's talking about food, and it's talking about food for the poor. And he says, you rob me when you're not doing that. You're not providing for the poor, the fatherless, the widow. You're not giving them food. He said that there may be food in my house. Why? Because there was supposed to be food stored up in the house of Yah so that people could come get that was poor. But they don't collect tithe for that today, do they? Nah. Well, brethren, now we know why he's called forth the priest. Now we know why the earth is in the shape it's in, and now we know why there's an awakening to bring everything, to restore everything back to where he has originally ordained it to be, which is where Jeremiah comes in. So now Jeremiah is a prophet that is the prophet of the time that Jerusalem is destroyed. He's the prophet where Solomon's temple was destroyed. He and Ezekiel were contemporaries. And he's a prophet also, not only with Ezekiel, he's a prophet contemporary with Daniel, because Daniel mentions Jeremiah's prophecy in Daniel chapter 9. He mentions Jeremiah's prophecy. So, and Daniel was taken captive at the destruction of Jerusalem, in which Jeremiah was there. So they were all contemporaries. All right. And so Jeremiah was called to tell the Israelites they were going to get spanked by the king of Babylon, because the Most High used Babylon to spank his people. And then they were told also by the same Jeremiah that Babylon was going to be spanked and destroyed and his people delivered, which is what we see happening now. So the Israelite people have been oppressed by Babylon. Babylon now representing the world power of government that's controlled by the children of Japhet. Because Babylon under Jeremiah was controlled by Nebuchadnezzar, who was a Hamite. Nebuchadnezzar was a Hamite, and his son was a Hamite, and his grandson was a Hamite. And in Jeremiah, as we're going to see, it's prophesied that was the generations that were going to represent the last generations of Babylonian domination. It said Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and his grandson. And that's exactly what happened, because Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's grandson. And that's when the Hamitic powers were cut off. And the children of Japhet, starting with the Medes, which are now your Eastern Europeans, took over. And then eventually Israelites would be enslaved by the Europeans, which is now the new Babylon. And we would be oppressed in Babylon. And Babylon will be used for us to turn back to our God, which is where we are right now. Okay? It's designed to cause us to call upon Yah, our God, that's always been our God. We just forgot him. We just were brainwashed. We just was in darkness because of the sins of our fathers. But now we've been awakened, and we are called to turn back to our God, to Yah, not to any denomination or church, to our God. So now we know Jeremiah is a Levite. He's bring forth to teach the people, and he's not only that, he's now given the gift of prophecy. Okay, he's given the gift of prophecy. He is part of the gift of the spirit of prophecy that Revelation talks about. The angel said to John, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Messiah. Worship Yah, for the testimony of Messiah is the spirit of prophecy. What does that mean? Is what is said in Revelation chapter 1. Let's repeat that again. Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Messiah Yahushua, which Father gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of Yah and of all the things that he saw. Okay, what goes on here? The message from the Father comes through Messiah, so that the testimony of Messiah, the witness of Messiah, is prophetic power, because that prophecy came to John and he wrote the book of Revelation, which is a prophetic book. So Father is sending everything through Messiah, and from Messiah by an angel to a prophet who's going to bear record to the people who that prophecy is for, his servants. Okay. And now Jeremiah also is receiving the spirit of prophecy. And we know that the Levitical priesthood was ordained to teach Israel. That's what they were ordained to do, teach Israel. But occasionally we know he rose up from among those priests, prophets like Moses, Aaron, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, John the Baptist. We see prophets. Jehazael, we see a lot of prophets raise up from the ranks of, not only, but from the ranks of Levitical priesthood. Okay, so let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 1, beginning at verse 1. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin. So he was in Benjamin's tribe's land, but he's a Levitical priest in Benjamin. Okay. To whom the word of Yahweh came in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. So let's stop here. Josiah was the last righteous king in Judah. He was the last one. After him, just wicked kings came until Nebuchadnezzar caused the destruction of Solomon's temple and the city of Jerusalem. Josiah was the last righteous king. He died at age 39. And he came out to battle when he was warned not to, and he died. He's not quite 40 years old, and he reigned in the 13th year of Josiah's reign. This young man Jeremiah from the priesthood was raised up with prophecy. Okay, verse 3. And it came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. So this is the era in which Jeremiah is bringing his prophecy, starting with Josiah and going to Josiah's 2 sons until the carrying away, till the captivity and the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in Jerusalem. So he is that prophet at that time. Okay. Verse 4. Then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So Father is saying, when he calls this prophet, before he was even formed in the womb, he had already knew him and ordained him before he was formed in the womb. What does that tell you about us? In these last days, all of us are called to live in these last days because we're here. We're here in these last days. Before we were formed in the womb, the Father knew we would be here in the last days of the history of this system of Babylon. What has he ordained us to do? Well, that's up to you to find out from him. What position are you in these last days? Are you Judas or are you a disciple? Who are you? Are you going to follow a crowd or are you going to follow Yah? Who are you? Where you come from? Who are you? And where you're going to be? Well, he knew before the foundation of the earth, before you were formed in the womb, Father already knew. So those of us that are seeking truth will seek truth. It's ordained. Those of us that won't. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what nation you come from, who your family is. You can't control any of that. But if you've been called from before the womb, you're hearing what I'm saying and it's coming to you. It's hitting you in your spirit. It's hitting you in your conviction. And you're being called. If you're not, keep walking. This ain't for you. That's all I'm saying. If you're not, keep going. Time is so short. We don't have time to waste. Because you cannot get it back when you waste it. Many of us, especially those older heads like me, you know you've wasted a lot of time in your life, right? I mean, if you're older, you get it. You know that there's been years of wasted time in your life. You cannot get that time back. If you're like me, you understand you must redeem the time you have left to the fullest. For some people, that means adventure, jumping out of planes or bungee jumping or something, traveling. For me, it means giving my all so that I can hear, well done and good and faithful servant. For me, it means seeking the Father to the point where Messiah taught me, where he said he did always those things that pleased the Father. That's what it means to me to redeem the time. But for everybody, it's different. Okay, for everybody, it's different. But all of us are not accidentally living in these last days. This is the last days of the history of this Babylonian system, and you're here for a reason. What reason? That's between you and the Father. Hopefully for holiness and righteousness. But you will answer that question one way or the other. All of us will. Jeremiah was called before he was formed in his mama's womb. Before the seed came from his father, he was called to be a prophet. And he was a Levitical priest. Okay. Verse 6. Then said I, Most High Yahweh, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. So he was declaring himself unworthy because he was a young boy, probably a teenager when he was called. Remember, Samuel was called when he was, I think Samuel must have been 9 or 8 when the father called him. Another Levitical priest, Samuel. And he was like 8 or 9 when the father called him as a prophet. He sometimes calls children, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to call children. He's already started. I'm an old head, but there's some children out here that he's going to call. And he's already calling them. That are ordained to be prepared to bring this message in the next few years. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 1. But Yahweh said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith Yahweh. He's not sending Jeremiah to Poland or to Germany or to Japan. He is sending Jeremiah to Israelites. Jeremiah is there when Babylon is there, and he's being called to give a message to Israelites. Now, his message was so powerful that there were Babylonians that received it, just like today. Okay, just like today. Only thing today, the new Babylonians are not the Hamitic people. It's the children of Japheth. Okay, although Hamitic people are also, heathen as well, and they will come also, as the Bible shows us. But children of Japheth run this planet right now. They run Satan's earth. Y'all know that, right? The Federal Reserve is children of Japheth. The Supreme Court, Wall Street, media moguls, children of Japheth. Money supply, children of Japheth. Money printing, children of Japheth. They're ordained to run this thing. Biggest religious systems on the planet, children of Japheth and Arabs. Arabs are actually Semites, but they're Arabs. They're not children of Israel. Let me just make sure you understand that. Arabs are not children of Israel. They're Semites, but they're not seed of Isaac and Jacob. I want to make sure you're clear on that. The children of Israel are Semites, but they're seed of Jacob, which makes them not only Semites, but Hebrews, the seed of Eber. Arabs are of Sem, but Sem had 5 sons. It was only Arphaxad's seed that ended up being the chosen, but he had 5 sons. So you got Arabs now, like Muhammad, that's not of the seed of Jacob. They also have a religion that's 1 billion people in the planet Earth. There's more than 1 billion Muslims. So, but that's not Jacob's seed. Okay, but children of Yafet even dominate them, though they outnumber the children of Yafet. Yafet still dominates them, as we have seen in all these Middle Eastern wars. Okay, still dominates. That's how it is. But this, Jeremiah was called to give his children, his family, Israelites, a message while Babylon was in charge. The 144,000 are also called to wake up the Israelite people as to who they are, but Gentiles also will come just like then. Just like that. Okay. Verse 9. Then Yahweh put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And Yahweh said to me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. So he put forth his hand and touched Jeremiah's mouth. And he said, I put my words. Now, let me ask y'all, here's another quiz question. Y'all ready? Here's a quiz question. So here, the Father sent an angel and they touched Jeremiah's mouth. And he said, I put my words in your mouth. Can you tell me another way that the Father used to put his words in somebody's mouth? By using their mouth? By using their mouth? That's a hint. There's another way the Father showed us, both in the book of Revelation and another prophet, which I'm not going to tell you right now, to put his words in their mouth by using their mouth. Y'all know who that is? Y'all know how that was? Do you remember that? We studied it in the book of Revelation, and we studied it when we studied another prophet too. Do y'all remember that? Quiz question. Heavenly Garden, you've been doing studying, my sister. I praise the Most High. You've been studying. You need to teach some sisters what you know. You need to teach some sisters what you know. You know a lot. That's right, Antonio. Praise the Most High. That's right. He told Ezekiel to eat this book. And the book had the message that he was going to get. He told John, eat this little book. And the book had the message that John was going to give. See that? He said, eat this book. Right? And so here, that's the way he gave it to them. But here with Jeremiah, he said, he just touched his mouth. I'm going to touch your mouth. And he did that also with Isaiah. Remember, he took a coal and he touched his mouth. Remember that? So Father has his own ways of doing things. So here in Jeremiah, he touched his mouth and he said, I put my words in your mouth. And that's what a prophet is. A prophet is simply a person that's been given words from the Father to speak. That's what a prophet is. That's why it's very dangerous for somebody to just jump up and call themselves a prophet. Very dangerous. Because then you'd be a false prophet if you're not speaking from the Father, and you will answer for that. Because false prophets do answer for their falsehoods. Don't just see, in this day and age, people are so quick to say, I'm filled with the Spirit and I'm a prophet or a prophetess. Be careful now. This is a very serious thing, the Father. I'm glad he doesn't take half of them people. He don't even take seriously. He's not even listening to them. But it's a serious thing. So when a person speaks, and that's why the Bible says there's certain prophets you don't listen to. That's a false prophet. There's prophets you do listen to, the true prophets. And that's why, one of the doctrines of Islam is that we believe all the prophets. That means you believe false prophets too. But Israelites only believe in true prophets that come from Israel, ordained from the Father. There's no other prophets except those to us. Right? That's how it is. Just being real with you from the word of the Most High. But anyway, it's a serious thing. So he put the words in Jeremiah's mouth. Verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over nations and over kingdoms to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down and to build and to plant. That's what word of the Most High does. It overthrows and it builds up. It tears down and builds up. We know that. The message of justification by faith. We receive the fact that we are sinners, unworthy of eternal life. And we receive the fact that through Messiah, we obtain righteousness from the Father though we are unworthy. And we obtain forgiveness and cleansing from sin, though we're unworthy. That's build down and tear down and build up. I know for me, Father has had to knock me on my behind multiple times for me to get straightened up. And I'm not saying I'm straight now, but I'm saying he's bringing me along the path. And he has had to deal harshly with your brother because your brother got thick Jamaican coconut. And he has had to knock me on my behind a couple times, multiple times, for me to start to understand, to be torn down so I could be built back up in righteousness and spirit. And like Paul said, not that I have claim to apprehend, but I seek to apprehend that for which I am apprehended of Messiah. I follow after. That's what he said. And I reach forth, that's what before, that I might go to the high calling of Yah in Messiah. And that's what we all seek. But we have to be torn down and built back up. Okay, I'm going to stop here. We're just starting Jeremiah. We just did all the background stuff. Now we're going to start getting into the prophetic utterance of Jeremiah and talk and compare that with other books as we do all the time. Let's take a break right now. It's 12:43. I'm going to come back at like 1:30, I guess 1:30. I'll come back and we'll continue here. But I'm going to stop right here. The Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.